Is she on? Is this son of a bisquick recording? It sure is. Welcome to my channel, The New Ivory. My name is Ivory, and today I wanted to have a little bit of a talk or a little bit of a rant or a discussion here. Now, I can't have a good rant without a good sippy sip. That's one thing you'll learn about my channel in these videos. When I have my rants or when I have my talks, I'm probably gonna have a little alcohol on the side here to kind of keep me going. Hopefully YouTube doesn't ban me for drinking at home, but if that's the case, maybe I'll change it up. But that's that point. Today I wanted to talk about something that a lot of us millennials and zennials and Generation X and even some, boomers can relate to. That pesky little thing that we all, well, not all, but a lot of us, especially millennials though, but a lot of us can relate to, and that is the dreaded fucking student loans. All student loans. How we love them. The Navians and the A-Vantages and the Mohilas and the Great Lakes and the SoFis and I've named about 5 or 6 of them right there to let you know how ridiculous this shit is. Seriously. So I read an article, and there's a lot of these that you can find and you can Google and see for yourself. Student loans have been on deferment because of the pandemic for about 3.5 years. And they just started kind of going back. There's been some forgiveness in between. There's been some aspects of cancellation. There was a whole big cancellation that, Joe Biden manipulated the public with when it came down to it. And I say manipulated lightly because, that took a whole, we all know what happened with that. Let me just put it that way. It wasn't happening and everybody got kind of upset, but we can't knock the man for trying. It's been a roller coaster ride for a lot of people, and student loans have started back up in 2023 in the month of October. 9 million people, 9 million missed their first student loan payment. That says a whole lot. Now, the reason for a lot of people missing those payments is because, some are walking back against the system and sort of a rebellion where they're just like, hey, student loans are not worth this. We need help with student loans. We were 18 years old when we signed these papers, and I'll say the same because I was a part of that. I was 18 years old when I signed them papers. We signed a paper that was promised to pay, but the interest rates and everything are very predatory, and people have more than paid their loans off, which I'll get to as I continue through this video. Take another sip of the drink here. I rant about this or bring this up or have this conversation because a personal experience, but aside from that, I really see the tough hardship that some people are really going through with this, especially with the way that the economy has changed and the way that things are going about with the rise of everything and inflation and groceries and are going up, and certain, your car insurance is going up, and it's getting more expensive to purchase your first car, and it's, rent is consistently going up, and not just by 10, 20, 30 bucks. I mean, by $100, $200, in some cases $400. And it's not getting easy for people to actually make a success for themselves and to basically live out their dreams or live out the best versions of their dreams that they're trying to do. They're terrible. They're absolutely terrible. They're non-bankruptable. There's a lot of different companies or servicers that kind of come with it. When it was originally the federal government, and I will speak on my personal experience. So I graduated in 2010. I didn't start college until 2004. I was originally going to go to school to be a lawyer, basically. Like, I was going through school to be a lawyer. I majored in pre-law and political science until about 2006 to 7-ish. That was around the time I did it for like 2 years, and then I changed my major to communication studies because I wanted to do something in relation to actually what it is that I'm doing right now. Kind of media, broadcasting, things of that nature. I wanted to actually be like a news anchor or a news broadcaster, or like maybe even possibly an investigative journalist, something like that. But the school I went to didn't really have a journalism program. They didn't really have a good journalism program, but they did have a good communications program that where I could learn the ins and outs about like media. I went to school around the time the first recession came about, the 2008 first recession, where the housing market crashed and there was no like jobs really. Like jobs were just like scarce. If you found the job, you were lucky. You were really lucky, or you knew some people, or you knew something that helped you get that job. I graduated in 2010, as I mentioned, and when I got out of school, I was still working my college job. So when I got out of school, I was still working my college job, and $45,000 to $47,000 was my debt load in total. I didn't take out $47,000 in student loans. Generally, I took out less than that, but the interest kept building and building and building and building, and I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that shit. Like anybody who has had student loan debts already kind of understand. Like, remember those capitalized interest letters that we kept getting? This is when it was with Sallie Mae. I had Sallie Mae before it changed to Navient. And then I had Ed Financial. And then my loan just kept getting sold off to different like places. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was getting a new letter from a new place every time. I'm like, who is this now? The capitalized interest just kept coming. It was a new $100 every month. And it just built up to that. I didn't even take out that much. Now, my student loans were a mix of federal student loans, and I had one private loan that was about $13,000, roughly there, which was with Sallie Mae. That changed to Navient. I gotta say this. If you are gonna go to college, and this is more so, I make this kind of video for people, more so the younger kids who are coming up and who are finishing high school and are deciding if they actually want to go to college. These days, because of the age of the internet and the age of YouTube and the age of just like all different types of ways that you can make money and you can be successful in life and you can be seen and be visible, I don't think college is really worth it unless you are going into the STEM fields, doctor, dentistry, engineering, even some tech positions, to be a lawyer, a mathematician, to where you're calculating numbers, or you're like the mathematician to calculate certain formulas and collecting quantitative data for NASA or something big like that. Go to college. Go to college. The only thing that I wish going on down the line, or that I'm hoping going on down the line, is that the price of college goes down. Now, because of all the elements of these student loans being non-bankruptable, one, and basically are federally insured and guaranteed by the government, college is not getting cheaper. They don't have the incentive to get cheaper, which is one of the biggest reasons why I call college a business now, or I call education a business now, because that's what it genuinely has turned into because of what student loans have become over the years. I say this to my younger kids who are getting up and they're on their way to college. Don't do what we did. You know, I'm in my late 30s. I'm 38 years old. And I learned a lot of shit the hard way, especially when it came down to this whole student loan shit. If you're going to go to college, do whatever it is you can to get scholarships. Definitely whether you talk to a counselor, but also talk to a mentor, a person that's outside of the school system, who's been to college, who's been through the whole dynamic of going through degrees and going to school and everything, and even other people who have had student loan debt. If this video doesn't reach you, talk to somebody in your life. You know, a cousin, a brother, a friend's baby daddy, or somebody who has been through the college experience that can let you know what you're getting yourself into. Because student loans will trap you. They will trap you down. This is the type of debt that you will never escape unless, you work for public service. You get a job, work for public service for 10 years, and they get wiped clean and canceled that way. But that's 10 years of your life. Or you are extremely, like, disabled to the point where like they have to cancel those loans, and it takes a lot for that. That's not even something that's going to be easy to even completely like wipe out or wipe off. You know, you have to prove true economic hardship. And the whole element of it is, it seems like they make sure that you are stuck in this debt. And it's just not fair to us. I mean, and I know life isn't fair, but like it's just predatory to the people. And it's predatory to us who really want to be able to make something of ourselves or make something of our lives. Yet in order to make something of our lives, we have 60, 70, $80,000 debt balled and chained to us to limit or prevent progress into being a better version of yourself. I don't like it. I don't think it's right. And I understand it's a personal choice and a personal decision, which is why people like me come on the internet and make these kind of videos that I'm hoping can reach someone. Definitely talk to someone that you know in your personal life who has been through this particular experience in life. And I wish somebody would have talked to me. I didn't have anybody talk to me about it before I made the stupid decision of signing the dotted line and getting all that debt. If I knew then what I know now, I wouldn't even went to college. I would have took all my time, invested in something, maybe started a business, and then move forward. And it's still not too late for me to do that. I mean, yeah, I'm in my late 30s now, but I can still do that if I really genuinely want to. Student loans, guys, just be careful. If you have to take them out, which people who are moving into doctoral degrees or who are moving to be doctors and dentists, they're likely going to have to, because medical school isn't cheap, dental school isn't cheap, none of that is cheap at all. Just be careful with what you're signing. Pay attention to what you're signing, interest rates, you know, the terms of the loans, the amount of money that's being taken out. And also, if you can, I know for those particular professions, it's a lot more difficult because they have to put a lot of time into studies. But if you can, try to make some payments on the interest so that it doesn't capitalize as much. And whatever you took out is what you completely owe back instead of that plus interest. Two things. First of all, if you're going to take out any student loans, steer clear of the private ones. Private student loans are the absolute worst. Those are the ones that will really lock you down. They're from private companies or private institutions. They're for profit. They have no big regulations from the government. They have no particular governmental benefits, almost like with this pandemic situation where like there's some type of like pause or there's some type of like perks that kind of come with, you know, the loans on pause for a certain amount of time. And then, you know, you pay it later on. They have none of that. They are for their money and they play with the interest rate. The interest rate goes up and down. A lot of them are not fixed. A lot of them are variable. They go up and down. There may be some that are fixed, but a lot of them are variable. They go up and down. You know, you may have an interest rate one year that's 7%. You may have another interest rate that's 5%. You may have one that go up 8.5%. It gets crazy and the bill keeps coming. When I paid down my student loan debt, that was probably the toughest one to get rid of. Now, just saying from my personal experience and my personal story, my student loan debt is clean. Finally, it's clean. I graduated in 2010. I didn't finish paying off my student loan debt until earlier this year. It took me 12 to 13 years to finish off $47,000 in student loan debt. And a lot of it is because there were situations, what really drove me to really kind of focus on it and really get it out is, I did not want to go into my 40s with student loan debt. I'd already said to myself, I'm not doing this in my 40s. So, because I got other goals. I got other financial goals I wanted to do. But aside from that, I remember looking through my list of like, you know, payments that I was making. And I was making payments 110 here for 12 months. And I was on an income-driven repayment, 110 for 12 months, 125 for 12 months, 165 for 12 months, 180 something for 12 months. And I remember looking, and it got to the point where I was paying about $280, something like that a month. It was getting up there. And I would pay attention to my principal, and I was just like, why is my principal not going down? I'm paying $280 a month, and my principal is not going down. I looked at my principal, I looked at the money, and I had noticed that of the $280 that I was paying, like 255 was going to interest, and $15 was going to principal. And I was like, the fuck is this? And this was with my federal loans. This is actually with my federal loans. And my private loans, it was worse. I would pay my private loans, I would pay $167 a month on my private loans, and all of it went to interest. And then it went to a point where it was like $5 would go to like principal. And I said to myself, I can't keep paying on this and having this going on in my 40s. So baby, oh God, this is good. What I did when the pandemic hit, I said, all right, I'm gonna make this a mission. Before the pandemic hit, I just sent a final check for my private student loans. It was about $12,000. I sent them one big check and cleaned that up. And I had maybe about 28,000 left, or 27,000 left in my federal student loans. But what I did was, I was like, you know what? While this pandemic is going on, I'm gonna make it a mission. I'm gonna pay it off. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna knock it out. And every month, I give a little payment here, $50 here, $30 here, $140 here. But what I was doing was I was aggressively saving. And then I had some, I did have a little bit of luck too when it came down to my particular financial situation, my job and stuff. I getting promoted and getting a good job, getting a better income. My income increased. And so I was like, okay, this works. And I would stack. And it got to the point where I would just give them big lump payments. Boom. Yeah, I was giving them big payments to the point where I cleaned it up. So I'm student debt free, which is why I make this video as just as me being a cautionary tale. That shit was tough. I couldn't do anything really. I mean, I traveled some places, but places I really wanted to go, like out the country. I had a group of friends that wanted to, me to go out of the country with them. And it was going to cost me like $5K. And I was like, I can't do it. Around like maybe not $5K, but like it was going to cost in the thousands basically. And I had to tell them I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because I was like, I made it a mission to pay off my student loans. Now that I paid them off, it's a big weight off of my shoulders and I'm near debt free. But guys, I say this to say, be careful with these student loans. They're no joke. They, like I said, they're non-bankrupt. And I know a lot of people nowadays are just like, screw Sallie Mae, screw the government, screw paying these loans, screw sending them any kind of money if they're going to be this predatory. But the reality is these governmental institutions have enough power to garnish your wages. They'll take 15%. They'll take more than that if they want to. Before you even see a dollar of your money, if you go into default, they'll take the money from you. It ruins your credit. If you ever had goals of buying a home, getting a new car, having a place to stay, that stain on your credit is a black mark on your credit, and it can really get in the way of your progress in life. And, at some point you're going to want to have a family and have a home and want to, do those big things with your life. And you don't want this bullshit with these this bullshit with these student loans to fuck with you. You don't want that. Nobody wants that. Be careful out there. Be mindful. And, and another thing I also want to mention too, work. Anybody that's in college now, work while you are in school. Work while you are in school. That will be a big one. Because the more work experience you have, the more your opportunities expand when it comes to finding a job. Now, like what I graduated in with my degree, I'm not even working in. I had to change my career and I work in transportation logistics now, which I make great money in now. Because the transportation logistics and supply chains, I make good money in that now. It took me 10 years, but I make good money in that. And, but yeah, get your experience. You have to get experience. You have to work. I don't care what it is you do, work. Give yourself some work experience so you can have a leg up instead of just being school. If they're asking for experience in something, whether it comes to dealing with customers, and that's the thing, experience in dealing with customers, working in groups, working with coworkers, being able to problem solve, being able to like navigate like how, you know, structures change and adapt within certain company cultures and stuff like that. If they see that you have that experience, and they're likely to extend a hand and then giving you possible employment opportunities, interviews, because you have work experience. You know what it's like to work for a company, and you understand how to, you know, work within a company's mission, that kind of shit, you know. So anywho, comment below. I think my biggest thing that I always ask, especially with if this continues to go in this down this road, is like, what are we gonna do when it comes to professions that are needed in society? Like, because of the way the charges and costs of like schooling and secondary education or higher education, like, what are we gonna do about like if there's a shortage of doctors or dentists or lawyers or anything like that that we need in society? We need these positions in society. We need doctors and lawyers and dentists to, you know, take care of the general public. But how is that going to be the case if a dentist or a person who is an aspiring dentist is not motivated to go to school because it costs them $400,000? Like, and that's another thing for me. I don't understand why does it cost $400,000 to be a fucking dentist? I never understood that. Like, is it because there's certain type of equipment that's expensive to utilize while in dental school? Like, because a lot of dentists, they don't even come out of school making that. And the average cost to go to a dental school or to be a dentist is like $300,000 to $400,000. I don't get it. A lot of them come out making 120. I wouldn't say 120, maybe in the hundreds, but like, why does it cost that much? Like, why exactly does it cost that much? And another thing I think about when it comes to that is like, if you want to be a specialist or make in the 2 and 3s, you have to be a specialist like an orthodontist, but that's more schooling. That's another $250 on top. So you're paying $650,000 to be an orthodontist, making two something a year, and it's like, what is it that makes it so expensive? I don't know. Any doctors and dentists, you know, leave a comment below and let me know, like, what, maybe you have some insight that can probably let me know, because I have no idea why it costs so much to do that particular profession. Like, you know, I understand it's a specialty profession, takes a lot of skill, but like $400,000 average to be a goddamn dentist. I don't get, baby, listen, I don't get it. I don't get it. You know, I'm in this video here. We all know student loans are bullshit. I'm going to continue to keep saying that student loans are bullshit, because they are. But leave a comment below. Let me know. Are you a current student in college right now? Have you graduated and you have student loan debt? What is your student loan debt story? What would you like to see change in the future for student loans or for higher education in general? Do you see higher education as, you know, necessary for the future? Do you see it as a business like I do? I see it as a business. You know, I don't see college as I don't see it much as a scam per se, but I do see it as like, you know, the student loan industry is more of a scam, and then a rising cost of college education as a byproduct of that. That's how I look at it. But comment below, let me know. Again, my name is Ivory. Thank you for visiting my channel. Like, share, subscribe if you like. And I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.